I decided to make a video on doing a thermostat job, normally very easy on any other car I've done before, on a 2003 Pontiac Grand Prix. This is a 3.1 engine model. I don't think the other engine size, the slightly bigger one, is much different by design. What made this job complicated was getting to the water manifold bolt on the lower right. I'll explain that in a minute, but the symptoms were this thing was overheating. We thought we had a coolant leak, couldn't find it, kept adding coolant and water. Sometimes you don't want to use non-distilled water if you're overheating a lot, because those mineral deposits heat up and eventually clog up the engine. Now, what made this job ugly was, like I said, getting to that lower right bolt on the water manifold inlet. The exhaust manifold is right in the way. You can't get in there with any kind of wrench that I could find. I saw a guy make a video showing that he had special wrenches that were all kinds of curly pretzel looking shape. They were made for a specific job on a Volkswagen, and he used it and it worked for him. Not finding any wrenches like that, I went with a regular box end to break that loose down there, and I'll show you how I got there in a minute. And this is the unfun part, what made this job a 3-hour job at least. And when I got it loose, I went with a ratcheting box end. Great to have. Only one direction it goes. It's flipped a wrench over. The open end ratcheting that I thought would be great didn't work out for me, because you have to have enough travel on this wrench for that ratchet to work. And down here, you cannot get that kind of travel. You can only get 1/8 of an inch travel, and let me see if I can show you why. You have to go under. Now look at here. I had to bend this flashing for the exhaust manifold and the fuel rack. Took it loose on one end, off on the other end, loose on the other, enough to pull this fuel rack and exhaust manifold cover. I had to bend it out of the way to give myself just enough room to see and do the job. I hate doing jobs like this. It's not the way to do it, I'm sure. I'll have to bend it back when I'm done, but it's the only way I could do it. And I add this again. I'm not a mechanic. This is just how I did it and how you may not want to do it, and perhaps maybe even take it to the shop. That would be my choice next time. But as I got it committed and broke down, here we are out in the middle of the winter doing this thing. But here's the problem, and what made this job unfun. See there, where's my wrench? The only thing that makes this job harder is trying to do there we go, film it while doing it. Now watch how much travel I get. Well, I've already got it tightened, so I'm not going to show you. But you only get about 1/8 of an inch travel on this wrench. Then you got to flip it over, all done by fingertips, of course, and get another 1/8 inch travel. Flip it over, another 1/8 inch travel, and repeat that process for 2 hours it takes to get that bolt off. And if I didn't mention, that lower right bolt does not come off. You only loosen it most of the way. Do not take it all the way off, because it's a booger to try and get your hand all the way under all that stuff and fingertips up to that bolt to put it in there in place while holding the water intake and starting that bolt. So stop before you get it all the way out. Take the upper left all the way out. Then you take this fuel inlet and pull the left side out a little bit to clear the thermostat inside it out, and then you slide it this direction to get it out. It takes a little finesse, not muscle. Learned the hard way. Just look what you're doing, working good lighting, so you can see the angle that thing has to come in and out. Putting it back in is a little tricky, because the thermostat just sets in place and barely hangs there while you wiggle this water in manifold back in, and without knocking it loose. It wasn't fun, but it's doable. I didn't like it. I would pay the shop next time. I only didn't because our guy was not available. Was booked up. So there you go. Good luck with this. Hope you find a better, easier way than I did.